today we want to have a conversation, and the conversation is from our new book, Infidelity, the Internal Breach. We've been getting a lot of great feedback from the book. And one of the things that I've heard from several people is the first chapter becomes an awakening.
Yeah.
It speaks directly to the heart and to the soul. So it opens up with three simple words that seems like it just comes out, of the mouth of the one who betrayed. It just comes out whether it's intentionally or not. But it's three words.
Yeah. And those three words are really powerful because to one person it means one thing, to
Right.
another it means a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And those three words are it just happened.
It just
It just
happened.
happened. And
How many
those
times
words
have
are
we
spoken.
heard that?
Yeah, those words are spoken in counseling sessions, in bedrooms.
Yeah.
And they're spoken, when a couple comes face to face, and it is like an eruption of pain to the person who has been betrayed. It is so painful.
It's like reopening a wound. It just happened.
Yeah.
So to the one who had betrayed, it's like an explanation. But to the one who has been betrayed, it's opening another wound. So it's a little deeper. It's like now they have to come to the reality that the person who just hurt them is this whole world that just came crushing down. Sounds like my life just shifted
Yeah.
and it was an accident.
Yeah. And that's the painful part because nothing just happens.
Nothing just happens.
And everything from that point on in the rest of their life has been altered, has been changed. Their
Yes.
whole reality has been shifted. It's like, dynamite went off inside of a person, and they'll never be able to regain that sense of, normalcy and trust
Right.
unless they deal with it. Because, the book is, infidelity, the internal breach. But the affair was, the symptom, and the internal
symptom.
breach actually was the cause.
That right there, as we start in this conversation, which is a major conversation, it's a conversation that need to be had, that this infidelity, and it shifts the entire world of a couple, of a family.
Yeah.
Everything gets shifted. So when this shift happens, everyone looks at, the big picture of infidelity. But we take a different look.
Yeah.
Our look is to look inside that the infidelity is a symptom. It's a symptom. But the internal breach is the cause,
Yeah.
which means that there was something going on the inside of the person
Yeah.
before the outward external world began to collapse.
That is so powerful and true. And what I like about this book is not written as an indictment, to the one who is the betrayer.
No.
And, it is not written, with a slight or favoritism towards one or the other. But it's here to help both because
Right.
we go deeper than just the affair, deeper than just
bigger
those
than
three words, it just happened.
Yes.
It is so much bigger than that. Because when you say it just happened, that really doesn't give the other person an opportunity to even understand what you're saying.
Yes.
You know,
It doesn't make sense to that person.
it doesn't make sense.
It
to
doesn't.
the person who's been trying to give their all,
Yeah.
do their best,
Yes.
show up, be everything that you say you need, everything that appeals to your eye gate, everything
And it's just been shrink down.
yeah, all of a sudden that person gets shrink down to like, wow. And then what happens? The person begins to think, well, maybe I wasn't enough.
But it's not even about that.
But it's not even about that.
It's not about that. So this is a real like conversation. So we're going to have these conversations about what's really going on. Infidelity, the internal breach. So the affair is the symptom. That's powerful if you think of it. It's the symptom, but the internal breach is the cause. And that's something that we have to really talk about. And in our over 25 years of working with couples, we have seen a lot of infidelity. And that's not something that we're excited about because we have watched families come crumbling down and people are actually almost to the verge of losing their minds and everything because the world they believed all of a sudden has been shattered and they don't know what to do with that.
Right.
So this book has been a long time in writing, and it's kind of like one of the most deep, deeply difficult, painful in thinking of and going through and helping people, painful in that aspect, but the revelation and the transformation that has been happening because of it as we work with couples and have to take them through this same journey when we do a one-on-one with a couple, taking them through this journey. It is a transformative journey because we don't look at either or. We look at the totality of what's really going on. An internal breach happened long before the actual external event.
Yeah, that is from, like you said, working with couples for over 25 years. We've heard a lot of stories. We've seen a lot of people in pain. And, the affair may have happened in a moment, in just one moment. But the cracks underneath, those things that were actually cracked underneath, were the things that were happening all along.
All along.
Which didn't come to the surface until the affair in that moment brought it out.
The affair exposed, like you said, that crack.
Yeah.
And most of the time, we don't pay attention to the little cracks, or we overlook the little cracks until all of a sudden we hit this sinkhole. And the sinkhole shifts our entire being.
Yeah.
Makes us question everything. But this is why we have written this book, because we want people to just not get focused on the affair. The affair is the most heartbreaking, incredible thing that could ever happen to a relationship and a person. But we want you to take a deep look let's look at what's really going on in both parties.
Yeah.
Because the one who has betrayed the other can't even fathom what's going on in the one who's been betrayed.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't even begin to understand the totality of that eruption.
Yeah. That and you're talking about a pain that people, it's hard to put into words. A lot of times we talk to people and we try to teach them that they have to be able to put their emotions into a language that the other person can understand. And the other person can't even fathom, why they're sitting in that seat beside the person who's saying, what happened in a moment.
In a moment. That
It
shattered
just
everything.
happened.
It just happened.
It's hard to sit beside a person and figure that out but what the other person that's been betrayed, can't see behind the scene is that there were thousands of little cracks.
That sounds like little moments.
Yeah.
There was
little moments.
so many little moments.
Little moments.
That little moments. And just imagine so many little moments that was happening. And then it culminates to this one moment.
Yeah.
But we fail to look at all the little moments that were showing up before the major moment.
Yeah. And those moments people tend to minimize.
Yeah.
Like, it was just nothing. It just happened. Oh, she just smiled at me. Oh, I just said I like her dress. Little moments. Oh, she just touched my hand. Or she just said you smell good today.
It wasn't
Or
that. It wasn't that deep.
it wasn't that deep. It's minimized. It's minimized, but those are the things that are the cracks. Those are the things that, that's where the breaches begin.
The breach
That's
right there.
that's what's happening internally. See, we're going beyond just the moment
Yeah.
that where you said it just happened and you described the time, the day, the event, the situation. No, we're going way beyond that because those little moments don't just happen.
They just don't happen. No one goes to bed and the next day they just jump up and have an affair. Something was happening prior. Things were going on internally prior. But nobody really looks at that. This is why this book is so transformative because we look beyond the infidelity, the affair, and we go deep into what's really happening inside of both people.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. How many little moments have you come into agreement with and you know that those agreements were against your morals, your standards, your pledges, your commitment, your covenant? How many little agreements have you come into where you said, yes, I will agree to, be flirtatious. Yes, I will agree to have an external conversation. Yes, I will agree that, I will be omissional about what I've actually been doing as far as the time I've been spending late at the office or going to the office. When I say I'm going to the gym, little moments, how many moments, take a moment and pause. How many agreements have you come into and been, aligned with those agreements that have caused internal breaches on the inside, and those breaches all culminated in the final affair?
That is true. And this is why this book, every time I get a text or I get a message, like I got to chapter 1 and I cried through chapter 1 because chapter 1 touched the reality of where I've been sitting. And that right there is powerful. It touched something so deep that it began to shed a different light. And because we wrote this book not to shame, not to condemn, not to blame, but to shine a light on what's really going on internally. Because something is going on internally between us both.
That's true. That's true.
Something is happening between us both. So we shed a different light. And this book is not just written for the couple who's in the midst or just coming through or trying to heal through infidelity. This is written for anyone who has ever been hurt by someone, anyone who have betrayed their own integrity.
That's where it starts.
Right there. This is just not written for a married couple, someone who's committed infidelity, any of those things, because that infidelity is a going against your own self. So we just can't look at just the relationship. There's so many things that we have to look at in this infidelity, the internal breach.
I like the way you explained that because as you were talking, it took me back that a lot of people are not aware of the fact that breaches can start way back in life.
Ooh, we're going to go deep in that.
They can start, and those seeds that are planted in our subconscious may have been planted even by unhealthy models of parental, examples that could have been in front of you.
Yeah.
You could have been around an affair, between that happened that planted a seed that Affairs are okay. Those are breaches. Those are things that, are seated deep down inside of, subconscious that comes back because you don't realize that's the concept of what we have sometimes as, as we go forward. We build on what's been deposited into our belief system
Yeah.
and into our subconscious, and then we live it out. And we don't realize that's where a lot of cracks are. That's where a lot of brokenness comes from.
Yeah.
That's where a whole lot of, breaches are already there. And we've made agreements with those breaches that it's okay. How do we know that? Because we've seen young men and young women get involved, with friends and start doing things and come to find out, well, maybe that was deep seated in them a long time ago, or they were around examples like that. So when we talk about breaches and internally, this is why this book is so powerful and you have to get it.
Yes.
It goes beyond the moment. It goes beyond the illusion of the accident, saying that it just happened. It goes beyond, things got out of hand and the excuses that you hear people make. It goes beyond, one thing just led to another. It was just an accident. I didn't mean to do it. It goes beyond that.
It's bigger than that.
Internally,
It's
there
bigger
were
than
breaks
that.
and cracks and breaches and
Right.
agreements, that were not supposed to be there.
Yeah, in the book, even as we have written it, infidelity is the doorway. It's the doorway. So we have to look at this as a larger picture. The infidelity is the doorway. The deeper conversation is about the integrity, right? The integrity that we lose. The identity that we are living, whether it's one that we created, it's one that we're trying to live and want to live one way in front of everyone, but that identity that's lost within. That's why it's called the internal breach, because it's more than just infidelity. That's the doorway. That's what we stand under. That's that passageway. But the real truth is that integrity that is lost. You can lose integrity with yourself.
That's right.
It doesn't always have to be about the other person, but that integral part about you, the things that you desire. Are you living the life that you really portray? Is that the same life that you're living in the secret place and the public place?
That's good right there.
See, that's why it's called the internal. It's deeper than the affair, because we lose our identity. Sadly, we have been working with couples for over 25 years, and we've been married 29 years this year. So we're working on 30 years of marriage and been together 31 years.
Yeah.
So we look at those things, and because we work with so many people and understanding that it's real, that a lot of times when people get married, and as a woman and a wife, I see this a lot, that a lot of times we get married and we lose ourselves and what we deemed or what we believe that the wife, the marriage should look like. And we forget about who we are. And once we start living this false persona, because we're trying to live up to the image that everyone else has said, the image that society, the image that has been passed down from generations to generations. So we're so busy trying to live up to that we lose ourselves. So then we start becoming or living what we believe should be what a wife looks like, what marriage looks like. And so then we lose our identity. Why? Because we get married and I'm a wife to the core. But we get married and we lose parts of ourselves because we are so busy trying to be like somebody else.
It's good.
So once we start doing that, that's a breach.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's not who you are and you're just trying to live up to an image, you have already breached your own awareness, your own identity. And once we start in one area, it continues into many areas.
Yeah.
So this is why this is called the internal breach.
That's good stuff. That is really good stuff because, we found from helping so many couples that they have a professional persona or that they want everybody to see and believe that this is the real them. And many times they have learned to live with that persona, presenting that persona to people, but privately they're actually dealing with some things. So you can be, like it's been said, a professional on the outside, and then behind the scenes, your
You're
private
somebody
life can
else.
be all jacked up because I thought about it because I remember helping couples and I remember helping some men, and we want to feel like we're right. We want to feel respected. We want to feel all the things that go along with making us feel like we've arrived to be on that professional stage and that public stage. But then behind the scene, what we don't realize is that a lot of people want to have that professional and public persona, but they don't deal with the wounds, the
Oh,
insecurities,
that's good.
the shame, the brokenness from the inside out. So what begins to happen is that what is on the inside begins to seep out to the outside. And even though we want to act like and look like we have it all together, then our weaknesses start showing up. Then our wounds start showing up. Our insecurities start showing up. And those are the areas where those breaches lie. And all those things,
Those
everybody can see you in
fractures.
front the curtain and say, this is who he is or who she
Yes.
is, but they don't know what's going on behind the scene. And what begins to happen is when we want to show up as right, we want to show up as respected. It's a certain amount of ego that is wrapped around that is tied. We tie that to a false identity. So now